All right. Welcome in, everybody. Hello. Happy Monday. All right. So today's topic is gratitude. Um, Gratitude is everything, and gratitude is the information we're putting out for the universe to respond to. So everything you do, your thoughts, your deeds, your words, your actions, they all tell the universe or God or whatever faith, religion, system you have belief in, it responds to you. So I like to use the word universe because it is a universal thing for me. Um, so our thoughts are what makes our world. So what we want to do is we want to start transforming our minds to shift out of negative thought patterns and into positive ones. The more you're grateful for, the more you tell the universe you like things, the universe hears that and it responds by giving you more of that. So if you're stuck in a negative thought pattern and you hate this and you don't like that and you don't like this and this sucks and that sucks, then that's what the universe hears. The universe hears this sucks, that sucks. And they're like, so that's what we're doing. Okay. And it gives you more things that suck and it gives you more things that don't work. So we have to break that cycle and we start doing that with gratitude. Um, Energy is real. It's the vibe you're putting out. It is what it is, right? So when we start with gratitude, um, it's really a process. Okay, it doesn't just happen like a light switch. You can't just turn it on all of a sudden everything's better and you're so grateful for the world. It also isn't just a fix all. Good things take good time, right? So you can't just be grateful for everything today and wake up tomorrow and have this amazing, perfect life. You've got to really put the time in. You've got to show up for yourself every day and every minute of every day. You've got to give yourself grace. You've got to know that you're human. You're not perfect and you're not always going to be perfect in doing the right things. But it's starting to catch yourself and change that mindset that starts to shift the universe and starts to shift your life into more of that life that you want and the things that you want out of life. Um, in the coffee chat, there is a work along that you guys can print out. It's real simple. It's one page. I got my notes and your worksheet all mixed up here. Yep, one page. Coffee hour. Okay, a little more than one page. So this is, you guys can't see that, can you? This is what it looks like. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to do just a couple of minutes to walk through this worksheet so that you guys can use it on your own time. Um, so the first thing you want to do is you want to ask yourself, what energy am I putting out into the world? What does that look like? And be honest with yourself, right? Because if we want things to change and we want to live that life that we're looking for and we want to have that positive life and we want to be able to achieve our goals, you've got to ask and you've got to be honest with yourself. So what energy are you putting out there? Is your energy that you're putting out in the world full of gratitude or full of negativity? And evaluate that within self. And um Rebecca looks like she's kind of got a question. If you do, honey, you can type it. She had this like question look on her face.
Right. I seen her writing.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So when you're doing these work alongs too, remember, be quick with them. Don't worry about what you're writing down. There is no wrong answer. All right. Don't worry about spelling. Don't worry about grammar. You're just getting that information down. You're starting to teach yourself what you're doing and how to make changes. And we're starting to acknowledge those changes that we need to make. So, so you always want to ask yourself, what energy are you putting out? And think about that. What thoughts do you have throughout the day? What actions do you do throughout the day? What type of things are you saying? And remember that each and every one of those the universe hears and responds to. So if you want more good things in your life, you have to talk about and think about and acknowledge the good things that you already have in your life. Maybe it's your puppy dogs, because I know we've all been talking about puppy dogs here lately, but maybe it's your puppy dogs that make you smile, So when you're noticing yourself in a negative place, you can use them to bring you back to a positive place. Well, I am really grateful for my puppy dogs. They are the best listeners. My puppy dogs are amazing. I love their cuddles, whatever that is, just that little minute amount of gratitude. And so you want to listen for yourself. If you catch yourself saying, man, this sucks, I don't like this, tell yourself, you know what? Stop for a second. Okay, this doesn't suck. I might not like this, but actually, this is something that I'm doing that is going to be beneficial for me in the future. So, whatever that negative thought process is, catch it, stop it, and flip it, right? Catch that negative thought, tell that negative thought, you know what? No, actually, we're going to flip this around, for example, my coffee's cold. I fucking hate cold coffee, right? So but instead of that, that's putting out a negative vibration. Instead of that, I need to say, you know what? My coffee's cold, but I'm so grateful to have some coffee right now. And I'm so grateful and excited to be able to heat this coffee up and get it back to what I want. That's nice, warm, hot coffee, So stop yourself from those negative phrases, those negative thought patterns, and those negative words. And every time you catch yourself, flip it and make it into something good. Super easy. It takes so much time. I used to operate out of a very negative place, like I acknowledged all the things I didn't like. It wasn't a thing to think about all the things I do like. I acknowledged the fire, for example. I don't like carrying firewood in. So we'd be carrying firewood in and I'd be complaining about it. Well, so that's putting out a negative vibration. That's putting out negative into the world. That's asking for more negative to come back. So a better way to approach that would be, I'm so grateful to be able to do this chore that I don't really care for because it provides me with warmth and a beautiful fire. It allows me that extra time to spend with my family. You just want to catch those things and then flip them back to a positive. We want to be in the positive. Um, let's see. When you put what you put out, the universe responds to. Energy is real. I'm just looking at my notes, seeing where I'm at here. Welcome in, everybody. Hello, hello. Uh,
Hello, how you doing?
good. Thank you. Glad to see you. So we're talking about gratitude today. Um, Your energy is your currency. So remember that when you put that energy out, it's like your bank account of life. Okay. So every time you spend your energy on something, are you spending it on a positive or are you spending it on a negative? If you're putting thought and time into negative thoughts and things you don't like and things you don't care and things you're lacking, then you're wasting your money on things you don't have, right? And your energy on things you don't have. And so that can be very draining. It can be very taxing and it can be very, very pull you down into a place you don't want to be, right? So be mindful of where you're using that energy, where you're using your life currency, which is energy, right? And remember to catch yourself in those negative moments, acknowledge them for what they are, and then flip them into a positive. Gratitude is the universal love language. You can't, so it's like you can't think about all the things you're lacking and attract all the abundance the world has to offer. Pick a lane. Do you want to be over here in the sorry without lane, or do you want to be over here in the positive, excited, and moving forward lane? You can't be in both lanes at the same time. So it's really important to really start to notice where in your life you've got those negative thought patterns and those negative actions and those negative words, and start to train your brain out of them. Catch them, rephrase them, and slowly you'll start to notice. It doesn't take as long as you'd think. If you practice it for a few days, you'll notice within those first few days, how much things are changing for you and how many more good things you're seeing coming into your life. Uh, the universe really does respond. So those good vibes attract more good vibes. Bad vibes attract more bad vibes. We attract what we put out to the universe. The universe is always listening. Thoughts matter. So if you're sitting there thinking about all the things that you don't have, the universe hears you thinking about that. So stop yourself from that thought process and say, you know what, but I do have a roof over my head and I'm grateful for that. I do have heat and I'm grateful for that. I do have a car to drive to work today. I'm grateful for that. Sometimes we get in a really bad spot and it's hard to think of anything to be grateful for. Um, and the best way to start changing that mindset when you're in that really bad spot is to start with the simple things. I've got water to drink. I am so grateful to have some water to drink. I've got clothes to put on today. I am grateful to have some clothes to put on today. You know, I have energy to wake up. I can breathe air, it doesn't have to be big things. It can be the tiniest little things. I'm grateful for my coffee. I'm grateful for my puppy dog. There's always something. Find it and start training yourself to get out of those negative thought patterns because they just lead to low vibration, low frequency, complaint mode, they is what we like to call that. Are you in complaint mode? Are you complaining about everything? Nothing ever works out for me. I'm broke. Nobody gets it. Nobody understands. I don't have this. I can't do that. That's a very low frequency complaint mode and the universe is just going to keep feeding it to you the more and the more and the more. So you've got to catch yourself in those moments and shift over to high frequency. I'm grateful for what I have. I'm open to abundance, right? And you want to tell the universe that, I'm open to abundance. I'm ready for good things in my life. I want to see positive things in my life. I'm ready to create the life that I want to live. I want to be comfortable. I want to help people. I want to support people. I want myself to be supported. And I'd like for everybody to reach that mindset because that mindset takes you to where you want to be. It will lead you to your best life. And that's what we're all going for, right? We all just want to live our best lives without all the bullshit that comes along with it. So, and it's not avoidable though. Life is always gonna life. So, um, I'm actually working on, I'll get it put out probably tomorrow or the next day on a little survival kit course for you guys, like what to do when life is life. So make sure you check that out. But just remember, gratitude is everything. It's so, so important. And that's where we start. Last week we talked about intentions. This week we're talking about gratitude, and they go hand in hand. So, a good intention for today. I wrote us one down. I just don't know where I put it. That's our worksheet. Oh, here we go. A good one for today is let's set an intention. We're going to do this together. We're going to set the intention. I'm putting gratitude into the universe. I am open to receiving more things to be grateful for. And I'll repeat that. I am putting gratitude into the universe and I'm open to receiving more things to be grateful for. Um, let's do our little work along now. And you don't have to do this right now if you don't want to, but you can. You can also go into the coffee hour and look at the work along. I went ahead and uploaded it for you. So if you don't have that downloaded yet, that's okay. We're going to kind of just read through it and walk through it together right now and kind of do just a quick little exercise, and then you guys can print this out and do it every day, or anytime you're not feeling the best, just whenever is convenient for you. But so all you have to do is step one is we're going to show up. We're going to, if you want to print this or you want to use your journal or whatever, you're going to write the date. Today is 4/6. And then we're going to finish the first sentence. says right now the energy I'm putting out is, and then go ahead and write down what energy you are putting out in the world right now. Acknowledging where we're at is so important because that's what allows us to see where we're at and start directing ourselves into the direction we want to go. You can't get the directions until you know where you're at, right? So just like if you want to go to Chicago, for example, and you type it into your phone, if your phone doesn't know where you're at, it can't tell you how to get to Chicago. So the first thing we're doing when we're checking in with gratitude is let's see where we're at first, because we got to know where we're at to know how to get to where we're going, right? So what energy are you putting out? Then the next step is to check your energy. What frequency have you been broadcasting lately? Have you been in complaining mode? Have you been in fear? Have you been stressed? Have you been just fully grateful, open? Have you put out a peaceful energy? Here, say over the last course of the week, what is your overall energy that you've been broadcasting? And just go ahead and make a quick note of that. And then what have you noticed in your environment that is been attracted by the energy you've been putting out? So, whatever we're going to say excited, all right? If you've been putting out that excited energy, what have you noticed over the last week has been happening in your world? What are you bringing to you with that energy? So, if it's excitement, maybe you've brought in maybe you met somebody else that's really excited about the same thing you are. If it's fear, maybe some other things have shown up in your immediate circle that trigger that fear response. Um, what have you noticed about what's going on? And then what frequency do you want to put out into the world compared to what frequency you have been putting out? Are you super happy about the frequency that you've been putting out and the energy that you've been attracting, or would you like for that to change? What frequency do you want to broadcast to the world? What do you want people and other energy? What do you want more of in your life, right? So, maybe it's abundance. Maybe you'd like to have more abundance in your life. Maybe it's productivity, maybe you've been procrastinating on doing a lot of your chores. Maybe you want to put that kind of energy out to be more productive. What is it that you want to broadcast instead? And go ahead and write that down. So now we kind of have an idea of where we're at. And we kind of have an idea of where we want to go, right? Because we've looked at where we're at now. We've looked at what it's been attracting to us. And we look at what we want that energy to look like. So now we're going to do a quick little gratitude check in. List 10 things right now that you're grateful for. And they can be big things, they can be little things, they can be anything. Like I said, sometimes it might even just be that you've got water to drink and air to breathe. But find 10 things that you're grateful about and write those down. Are we getting close? And remember, they don't have to be big, exciting things. Your 10 blessings, your 10 things you're grateful for, they can be the simplest, boring blessings ever. Like, I'm grateful for a bed. I'm grateful for a charger for my phone. I'm grateful for shoes to put on my feet. I'm grateful for water to drink. Keep it simple. Don't stress yourself out trying to come up with grateful things. It can be the littlest thing in the world and it counts. Okay. Now, once you've got your 10 things that you're grateful for, I want you to write this sentence under them. This is the energy I'm choosing to put into the universe today. And I'm going to repeat that. This is the energy I'm choosing to put into the universe today. And then we're just going to repeat that intention that we started with earlier that says, la, la, la. I think I need to number my pages going forward. Okay. So we're going to just repeat that intention. I am putting gratitude into the universe and I am open to receiving more things to be grateful for. Okay. Now we're going to move into step 4. Step 4 is kind of just learning to teach yourself to rephrase. The universe is listening. Everything you put out there comes back to you in the vibration that you put it out. So this is where we're going to acknowledge and rephrase. So I want you to pick one complaint that you've been broadcasting to the world here recently. One thing that you've been saying or doing that is putting out a negative vibration. So, just kind of as an example, I'm going to use firewood again. I've been complaining about carrying firewood in. I don't want to mess with it. There's bugs and stuff, and I just don't wanna carry firewood in. So pick something you've been complaining about. What is one complaint you've had? And then I want you to ask yourself, what is something to do with that that you're grateful for instead? So, for example, if I've been complaining about firewood, but I'm actually really, really grateful to be able to sit next to this fire. So, what is something that you're grateful for instead of the complaint? And so what do you kinda notice about that and how your energy shifts when you acknowledge the complaint and then look at something that's grateful instead? Well, when I acknowledged it, it kinda made me laugh at myself a little bit, like, "Really, you're complaining about firewood?" And I kinda laughed at myself a little bit. So, you can notice how just looking for that gratitude that is associated with that complaint, you can kinda notice your energies just start to shift immediately, right? And I don't know, you'll probably see it when you're in the replay, but you'll notice once I thought about it, well, what am I grateful for instead of carrying the firewood in? It did. It made me kinda giggle at myself, like, really you're complaining about carrying a few pieces of firewood in, and you even have help doing it, you know? So I was able to shift out of that negative mindset and into a more positive one, just simply by acknowledging, "This is my complaint, and this is something grateful instead." So we were able to rephrase that. So take notice to what that energy is shifting into, and go ahead and write that down. Like, for me, it shifted into kind of a comical laugh. And then what's one little thing you can do today just to show the universe that you are grateful for that? So, just one tiny little thing. For me, I can just sit here and appreciate my fire and just be thankful for it. Thank you for giving me warmth and allowing everybody to watch you burn with us in this cool little cart I got so we could sit by the fire. Just one tiny action to show the universe that you're ready for more to come. You're ready for that positive vibration and those abundance and gratitude. Um, and then we've got 2 more things, 3 more things on here. Okay. So then gratitude as an identity. So these sentences I'm gonna start and you can finish them. And this is something you can kinda do on the daily. But the first one is so what we're doing is we're looking to shift our vibrations into a positive mindset. And just a friendly reminder, it's not a light switch. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time and practice and dedication. You got to show up for yourself. Um, so I'm becoming someone who radiates what? What type of energy are you wanting to radiate and put out into the world? Are you wanting to be helpful? Are you wanting to put out creative energy? Are you wanting to put out abundant energy? Are you wanting to put out healthy energy? Is it more about personal self-confidence energy? Whatever that energy you're wanting to raise for yourself, you wanna become that person, and you use gratitude to get there. So I'm becoming someone who radiates, and then we're gonna go to a personal something. I am grateful for myself today for. So what's one thing about you that you're grateful for about yourself? Maybe it's your smile, maybe it's your laugh, maybe it's your hair, maybe it's your eyes. One thing about yourself that you're grateful for. Write down one thing about yourself that you're grateful for. And then I'm ready to attract what? What are you ready to attract? I'm ready to attract. And then we want to give ourselves a couple little mantras. So, what that does is it just gives you, and you can make it into your own words. I'm going to give you a couple of examples. But pick your favorite one or kind of create your own and use that throughout the day and on your day-to-day routine. You're going to want to keep it in your mind. And anytime you catch yourself in those negative thoughts, use your mantra to help bring you back, right? So, a couple examples would be I'm grateful for what I have and I'm open to receiving more good. Good vibes attract good vibes. I'm putting out good energy. Another one, I'm ready, I'm open, I'm grateful, and the universe is listening. And you can use those to remind yourself, our thoughts, our words, our deeds, our actions, everything we do tells the universe what we want, and the universe responds. So pick one of those, and I'll read them again for you. Number one is I'm grateful for what I have, and I'm open to receiving more goods. Number two is good vibes attract good vibes, and I'm putting out good energy. And then number three is I'm ready, I'm open, I'm grateful, and the universe is listening. And then the last thing we wanna do with that is just give yourself one word to really focus on this week. Is it grateful, open, abundant, ready, magnetic, aligned, blessed, balanced, uh, receiving? What is one word you can really focus on this week? And it's going to be different for everybody, guys. This is not one size fits all because we're all in different places in our lives and have different things we need to work on. So that's why I try to keep it a little more open instead of everybody needs to focus on balance. I think everybody needs to focus on where they're at. So, what does that look like for you? Do you need to practice more being more grateful? Do you need to practice being more open? Is it abundance? Are you stuck with that I don't have mindset? You need to practice on more abundance. Just pick one word to focus on this week. And then over the course of this week between now and our next school class next Monday, um, try to catch yourself at least once a day with a complaint, something you're complaining about, and flip it into a gratitude. And then take one tiny action to implement that gratitude. Just try to catch yourself doing that at least once a day, because I know we all do it at least once a day. Some of us do it a lot more. I used to do that all constant, all day. It was all those things, but I've spent the last few years really working on all that and learning this information and get myself to a point where I'm actually really comfortable with my life and things are going the way that I want them to go and things are falling into place. And that's because I've spent the last few years really doing a lot of self work and learning how to change my mindset to get the things that I want. And it's absolutely unbelievable how true it is that, and so my personal, like I like to tell everybody, change your mind, change your world. If your mind change your mind, change your world. And it is so 100% the truth. Because if your mind is stuck in the negative, your world is going to be stuck there too. So practice, 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 and give yourself grace. Don't be hard on yourself when you don't do something the right way or when you catch yourself being too negative. Don't be hard on yourself about that. Just remind yourself, hey there self, I'm trying to make some changes here. So let's try not to be quite so negative and let's focus on these things that we do have to be thankful for. And give yourself grace while you're doing it. Um I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now. And then I would like to give everybody the opportunity for any questions or answers that you have before we get off of the live call, but I don't want those to be recorded, I don't think. So I go ahead and stop that recording now.